Hello everybody, welcome back to the shop in the F-14. Cool, some stuff that's a little bit different today. What I'm doing is, I found some hinges, so I got the rudders hinged. And now what I'm doing is making up the rudder control arm. So basically what I did is I've got some 1/4 inch D-rod, D-square rod, D-shaped rod, whatever you want to call it. It's steel, it's hardened steel, it's like actual quality stuff. And it's just got a flat spot ground on it. Drilled 2 holes here, stuck some 440 grade 8 bolts in there, cut the head off and cut the threaded portion out so it's just smooth shank, and then did another one here perpendicular to the other 2. So basically this is the control arm for the rudder. Then there'll be like a G10 support that'll be glued into the fuselage as well to support the center of it. And then down here there'll be another rod or whatever for the servo arms and the ball links and everything. One thing I don't like to do is put metal into balsa wood. Sometimes it works, sometimes it does not. Typically it does not last for very long. It always wallers out the wood and then it gets sloppy and it's something you don't want. So what I'm doing now is I've got a piece of bronze chucked up in the lathe. I've drilled a hole for those to go into down the center of it, and now I'm turning it down the outside diameter. And what will end up happening is the brass part will actually get high-sawed into a hard balsa block in the rudder, and then the pins will slide into the piece of brass, and that will actually help keep that balsa block from walling out and developing slop. A little bit of time to do all this stuff, but it's worthwhile in the end. So what I'm gonna do is, that's like just under 1/8 of an inch rod diameter for 440. It's like 0.10 something or another. So I'm going to turn this down to just about 1/4 of an inch, and then I'm going to put a bunch of little grooves down the serrations down the middle of it. That way it gives the high saw something to really bite into. And all I'm doing is just, like I said, turning this thing down a little bit at a time. This stuff, since it's bronze, brass, whatever, it cuts really easily, so you can actually take pretty big chunks out of it. So like right now I'm taking 20 thousandths off each side, so 40 thousandths total. And after this cut, we'll pull the dial with a micrometer out, and we'll check to see what its dimension is. I'll probably go a little bit smaller than 1/4 inch, probably do something more like 3/16. So these machining of parts takes forever doing it by hand. And I think I've been doing those wing pivot bearing holders by hand as well. Those take about 5 hours, 4 to 5 hours to do one. So 8 to 10 hours for one wing. That's why I'm trying to get a lot of this stuff outsourced, to where I just get it and it's done. I don't have to mess with this all the time. So let's see, we're at 0.366. We're right about 3/8 right now. And yes, good tools are always great to have. It's a pair of Fowler digital calipers. Things are awesome, but they're expensive. So I know it kind of seems like I'm a little bummed about the quality of the F-14. Yeah, I would have liked it to be better for the first one, but it's my own fault. I mean, I sat there and I was in a hurry, and I decided not to put the spooge in places, and instead of getting the glass really nice and wet on that first layer so that epoxy can soak into the Airex, I kind of went about it and didn't put down as much epoxy as I should have. So I mean, It's all my fault. I know how to fix it. So while, yeah, I'm kind of a little bummed about it, I'm extremely happy at the same time. I mean, it is the first one. Yeah, well, it's a little bit of body work. No body work would be better, but a little bit I can live with. It's a heck of a lot better than having to build one from wood again, I can tell you that much. So don't let my little bit of a bummy attitude make y'all think that I'm not happy. I'm extremely pleased. So pleased, in fact, that I'm trying to get this thing done quickly. I'll show you guys what I did last night as well. So right now all I'm doing is just cutting down the diameter of it from a 1/2 inch piece of rod down to a little around 1/4 of an inch or so. Go grab my cutoff tool so I can do the serrations and stuff. And while you see me doing stuff like this, all these parts are going to be outsourced as well. I'm just doing these because I had the material and I've got the time. And it's cheaper. Alright, let's see here. That should be a little, around 1/4 of an inch somewhere. 0.26, perfect. Alright, so now I'm going to take this tool off. These are just indexable bits. I'm going to put the cutoff tool here, the cutoff blade. Quick change tool post. I'm going to turn the auto feed off. Clean up some of these metal shavings off the gantry way here. I do this just so I don't scratch the bedways and all that stuff. Gotta take care of your tools. So all my really expensive tools are locked up in a case where the little guy can't get to them. Alright. Now, these pins, I'm going to measure the length of these things, and they are 6/6. 6/10 and 6/10. So they're all about 6/10. Now I'm going to turn the lathe on slow or low, and I'm going to put the dial caliper here, then the Sharpie. What happens is it draws a little line. Oops. You can see a little line there on the Sharpie. And I'm going to do it again. Now I have 2 lines, and that's where our cutoffs are going to be. So now those little serrations I was telling you guys about, pretty easy. We'll turn the speed up on the lathe here a little bit. We're going to lock it down with, whoops, swing y'all over to my pants. I'm going to lock it down with the auto feed. What this does is it kind of locks it in place where it won't move. It'll move a little bit just because of the lash and the feed nuts that I need to adjust a little bit more. But it's good enough for now. I'm going to zoom in so you guys can get a good shot of this. I'm not a professional machinist, so if you guys see me screwing anything up, take that into account. I'm a self-taught machinist, so get over it. Now, I'm going to do, come down here. All I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut little serrations down it. And I had to be deep, just enough for epoxy to grab hold of. This one, cut it off completely, and this will be one of our first little bushing. There's our first little bushing here. See there, and needs just a little bit of cleanup down here on the end where I cut it off, but bushing will slide on just like so. Come back over here, do the next one. I did there to just kind of face that the end of that cut. That way you're not left with a little nipple or anything sticking off of it. It's nice and flat. Now this one we'll cut all the way off. And there we go, there's the second one. So basically, you get what looks like that. And drill some 1/4-inch holes, maybe a little oversized so you can get a nice big glob of, or nice thick area of Hysol around that. I'll clean up these little ends here on the belt sander, and this will get glued into the rudder, stick through the fuselage, more stuff here, which I'll get to all that later. Fuselage, what I did last night. Bum, bum, bum. All right, there we go. Basically, I got the linkages on the servo stuff I showed you guys. I got all that stuff kind of mocked up and installed. The hinge socket, or the spar sockets for vertical fins are Hysoled in. Still got to wrap those with carbon tow. The elevators are actually working. I need to mark the position on the shaft for the set screw. So those will be machined into the shaft for all the time, so they'll line up perfectly every time. And the rudders are hinged. Like I said, that's what I'm kind of trying to do now, is finish up the stuff on that. And all of the flashing is off the thing. Pull these out. Peter wanted a shot of the bottom of this thing, so let me roll it over. go, Peter. There's the bottom. Just kidding, sort of. It's not exactly easy to maneuver this thing around in here, especially with the stabs on. All right. Coming around the bottom, see more exhaust part. Again, this will be carbon fiber on the real one. It's just not on here. More details going down around. Panel lines, hinges, and all that stuff are still here. Gear door molding areas are all ready to be trimmed down to size. Naked duct. This is where the little Gacha hook or whatever on the real airplane would go into. That can get trimmed out if you wanted. The other naked duct. Phoenix and Sparrow wells are all here. Lower speed brakes are ready to have those trimmed out. Shaft and flare dispensers. One turned out really good, the other one not so much. But whatever. Like I said, it's a first. Looking all the way up there. Nose gear is ready to be cut out. Inlet ducts. A whole lot of carbon toe right here at this corner. So this corner is just kind of straight right now. A little bit of work sanding that down, a little bit of body filler. So there's going to be some work there for the builders to do. I mean, the bottom turned out a little bit better than the top side, really. Which is kind of expected since it's a little easier. A lot of this carbon fiber I'm going to end up removing. There's 2 layers of carbon fiber right here, and I mean, this thing is hard. It is very stiff before you even cut out this area. And then right here where the gear door, where the landing gear structure mount is going to be, there's 4 layers right in this area. So it's not quite necessary. See, my little inlet ramps here are fairly nice and flat. I got to sand off a little bit of high saw that spooged out. But yeah, I mean, the bottom turned out just as good, if not better, than the top. Everything's ready to go. The 2 servos for the rest of the horizontal stab are on the way. Expect they'll be here by the end of next week. Then I got to order some hardware, some servo arms, some titanium pro links, and some rod ends and stuff. Then I can get all the elevator linkage stuff done. Same goes with the rudder. I got to order the linkage stuff for that too. But otherwise, it's getting closer. One thing I'm probably going to end up doing is counterbalancing the horizontal stabs. Those of you on RCU, you probably know the whole fiasco about that for the past couple of months. For those of you who are not, don't ask. Some people swear by it, some don't. I'm kind of on the table of do whatever the designer tells you to. The original designer of the planes that I started with, that I've changed so much, recommends static balancing his stabs. So I'm probably going to end up static balancing my stabs. Just to see. I don't know, maybe I'll even stick those on some sort of assembly and drive down the interstate at 75 miles an hour, see what happens. See if they flutter, see if they kind of float around and do nothing. But anyways, I'm going to make up those 2 new bushings, and yeah, that's about it. Probably finish getting ready for Aerofest in Miami tomorrow at the AMPS RC Club. So if you guys are gonna be there, we'll see you there. If not, sucks, you're gonna miss out. Anyways, y'all have a good one. See ya.